Hola y bienvenidos a mi canal de YouTube donde voy a presentar a ustedes muchas oportunidades para aprender y muchas cosas más, qué sé yo y todo. ¡Ah! Oh no, el ajuste está en castellano. Oh, ellos no entenderán nada. Now that confusion is over. Hello Internet, my name is Sam and I'm about to give you a winded lecture about everything you're doing wrong in your life. Am I really? Nope, so I'm hoping that you're more likely to continue watching now. What I want to discuss today is foreign language in our public school systems. Am I trying to change the entire curriculum? No. I think too many people try to make these big bombastic changes or what they see as improvements when it's more effective to just tell you what I've seen, some changes that could be made, like little things, and then let you think about it. That's what's really important here. When you listen to someone talk or trying to convince you, it's kind of annoying when someone just tries to tell you what to think, and I really want you guys to think about this. Part 1. Quick establishment of who I am and why anything I say is of any value, because I'm just a stranger talking to you on the internet, and that's not always a good thing. That we were actually discouraged from that back in the AOL days. Y'all remember AOL? I'm a Spanish major at CSU, which is Colorado State University. Sam, not everybody on the internet knows what that is. Colorado State University. And I also studied abroad in Argentina. Vamos, vamos, Argentina. I don't know the rest of the words. Which was pretty cool to do, and also let me know how important it was to be bilingual in an ever-increasingly global economy. What my stake is in the issue is that when I was growing up, I loved Spanish class. I thought it was cool, I got it, I could do it so well. But then when I was talking to my roommates about what they thought about their second language classes when they were in junior high and high school, it went something like this. So what language did you study?
French, and I hated it.
I studied German. It sucked. And I was like, what? So I'd say it's pretty obvious that the public education system and just the national standards for education in the States, they've got some problems, you know. There's not a lot of standards going on. But anyways, the problem is the way that we're teaching foreign language. Ronald Wardhaugh wrote in 1967 about how just drilling kids isn't going to be enough. That was in 1967. And that's still kind of what they're doing. That's what I did. So are we going to change it? Or no? So I was using the Google machine when I was writing the initial paper that spawned this video, which I pray to God none of you ever read. It was awful. Selling the point, Sam, selling the point. There's a group called the Intercultural Development Research Association, and they did this like big study with schools that had really effective bilingual education programs, namely for students who are ESL, English as a Second Language students, and they found that they all had similar characteristics in these programs, and we could possibly emulate them to maybe build a bilingual education for English native speakers who want to learn other languages. I forgot to elaborate on the 5 things they were characteristics that the schools evaluate themselves on. They were school indicators, student outcomes, leadership, support, and programmatic and instructional practices. Yeah! So here's where we get to the part where I'm gonna try and convince you to do something a little out of most people's comfort zones. And this is, think about it. We don't have any real thorough educational standards in this nation. That is not a true statement. There are a couple of states that have some real thorough standards. But wouldn't it be better if we all had them, and maybe if there was even a national standard? The first small step that I want you guys to take, well, no, I guess this is the second one because I made that remark about thinking, which sounded really mean, and I wasn't supposed to sound mean. But anyways, the next step that you can take is kind of start to just think about education reform. Think about messaging, congressmen, your things that are words. My brain is gonna pop. Attend any meetings that involve communicating with the superintendent, with your school districts. Give them a reason to want to change it, because if we just kind of let it go as it is, No Child Left Behind isn't gonna save our kids. It's gonna keep leaving the kids behind. That was the whole point of the whole thing, was just to be useless and waste our time. I'm not gonna rant about this. This is Corinne's topic. Another quick thing I want to mention is all the benefits. Like, I don't even know if I should bother citing this, because there are sites that are literally dedicated to the benefits of learning a second language. If you Google benefits bilingual, bam, there. It helps with cognitive memory, it helps with test taking, which I know I'm trying to advocate to get away from the whole No Child Left Behind, but even if it were a cognitive test where the children just had to answer, just having more knowledge and having another language to pull from. I mean, how many words in English that sound crazy and weird that you see on tests when you're like in elementary, junior high, were crazy Latinate roots? If you knew Spanish, if you knew French, you would know what they were. You'd recognize it. And isn't that kind of cool? The states have been teaching kids second languages mostly as a requirement, or been offering the courses just in general, mostly for middle school, high schoolers. But it makes more sense to teach very young kids languages, because that's when their brain is still at the sponge stage and they're still picking stuff up. And our generation, the current generation and older generations, and probably the next couple who are going to come up through the schools, learn to hate languages if they don't pick it up immediately, because their brain's already way too developed to pick it up with ease. So wouldn't it also kind of be easier for the kids of a new generation with a better bilingual education system to learn the languages without having this innate hatred that we have because we just weren't able to learn it? They wouldn't know how hard it was because they would just already know it. And granted, there are those exceptions, like me, this is what I really get is foreign language, but we've kind of glorified and romanticized being able to say, oh, well, I'm just not a language person, I just can't learn it, that's just not something I can do. I mean, if you started learning when you were younger, you could have, but you didn't, so you missed that chance. Like I said, all in your hands. I'm not your mom, I'm not going to come paddle your butt, I'm not going to go grab the willow switches. What an outdated reference. And for the last step, and this is kind of a big thing, I want you to step outside of your comfort zone, because we as Americans, we like to set cultural comfort zones. I would like to challenge you to explore other cultural elements in other societies. Find something in another niche of the world that you can appreciate. And if not for you, think of the children. Because the chances are they're going to be able to fly to Argentina. They're going to be able to go to France. They're going to be able to go to China. They're going to be in Hongdae in Korea in like an hour or two. Whereas it takes us freaking forever. So it might actually be really important one day. What happens when your kid takes you on a cool vacation, but none of you can speak anything? Don't be that loser. Be the cool one who knows what's going on around them. Or be the loser. I mean, that's in your hands too. Everything, y'all have the power. Well, I'm done rambling. I feel like I've done a mildly coherent job of it. But, you know, that's what I think. And there's only so much space up here, you know. There's not a library. Alrighty, so leave me a comment what you think. And I don't know, start talking, because there's a whole bunch of subjects in the world that we really need to start having dialogues about if we want to fix things, because people are too afraid to talk, and we need to. Okay, peace guys.